Many House Democrats have, of course, made championing workers' rights central to their messaging about the crisis. Like what happened with the actual legislation, some officials' words differ from their actions.
So the Daily Beast's Hanna Trudo uncovered some interesting details about Millionaire Maryland Congressman David Trone's wine business. He's been laying off workers despite business booming in the pandemic and workers' rights being a cornerstone of his agenda. Hanna joins us now via Skype to tell us a little bit more about this story. Good to see you, Hanna. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hanna, just tell us about your reporting, how you uncovered it, and what you found out.
Sure. So I received a tip from an employee at Total Wine and More, which is the country's biggest liquor distributor and co-owned by Congressman David Trone, first-term congressman out of Maryland. And this employee reached out to me and said, while business is booming internally, this person had received and seen firsthand many of the company's internal financial documents, giving a clear picture that, of course, as unemployment reaches nearly 15% across the country, business at Total Wine & Co. is actually booming. So this person found out on Friday that they were laid off suddenly via video conference and told that their last day would be June 1st and their benefits would extend through the end of that month and they would not be eligible for any type of severance package. So the reason that that's particularly relevant and caught my attention, a couple of reasons, obviously, because business is booming, you would assume that layoffs would not be a problem for the company. And that was certainly what was conveyed to me from the employee on the inside. There was a lot of positive talk about how, the company is doing fine and that's not going to be an option for us. But also because of Trone's record, while it's small in the House, he just got in 2018, he's kind of positioned himself as a champion of pro-labor, workers' rights, sort of the common everyman. Actually introduced one of his first bills in Congress was called the Fair Warning Act, which was to prevent employers from being able to let employees go without warning. So it struck us at the Daily Beast as quite ironic. And so we wanted to kind of spotlight how a lot of his public positioning from the House is sort of contradictory to what's going on in the business that he co-owns.
Yeah.
And so the implication here is that he may be sort of taking advantage of the pandemic to lay off workers. What is the response from Trone and from Total Wine?
So I reached out to both of them. In the House, the response was basically, we don't have anything to do with any business. They didn't even mention Total Wine in particular. Of course, that's the business that the spokesperson's boss co-owns. He's a multimillionaire, spent, a record number of millions of dollars on one unsuccessful bid and a second successful bid. And so they sort of said, hands off, we don't have anything to do with any of the businesses, which I found interesting. And Total Wine and More basically just said, we're doing a little bit of restructuring internally. This is something that's minor, that's only affecting, a few employees, and didn't give me any specific indication of how many people, which I also found interesting.
Mm-hmm. And Hanna, I think we've covered like striking Total Wine workers and others who say that they're not receiving the personal protective equipment and other things that they need from the company. So is this part of a pattern that we've seen from the company? Is that something that any of your reporting has touched?
That I haven't touched on that particularly, but I there's a lot of there's been earlier reporting that has indicated that there are some problems brewing within that company in particular, offering employees a temporary raise and then taking it back. So there's definitely certain, issues that are in the works for somebody who pretends to be sort of a pro-labor congressman in particular.
Yeah. Is the workforce there unionized?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, that was my understanding as well. Hanna, great reporting. Thank you so much. We're always glad to have you.
Nice job, Hanna. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have more Rising for you after this.